and online. Have you done diary writing before?
Yes.
Yes. So you know the basic format. So that will move quickly. So you say you have already done diary writing, so you exactly know what to do in this, right? So how should I start? What will you write first? There's a proper format for diary writing, okay? So the subject will be given, you'll get the topic. So how do we start? What do we write first?
Dear.
Sorry?
Dear.
Dear diary. But what is there before that? See, first you write the date. Okay, this is the format. You write the date, then you write the day. And in the same line, you write the time. So, date, day, time, and then on the next line, you start with dear diary. Okay? So, dear diary, D can be small, or since you're talking to diary, it can be capital also. Now, this dear diary, the dear diary it depends. See what your teacher says. Some teachers say you start with dear diary. Some teachers say you can directly start writing. You need not write dear diary. Okay? So this is little optional. It depends on what your teacher says. What have they said in your school? Dear diary. Okay. Fine. Mostly they say write, but there are teachers who say you need not write this. Okay? But if it is there in your school, very good. Start with this. I'll give you a few tips as to how to many times you write. यहाँ तक तो लिख देते हो dear diary. Now everybody has problem with how to start. Okay. Now usually whenever they give you a topic, it is about something that you saw that is a little unusual or special. So the most common topics are like you stood first in the class, or you won some competition, or there was flood, there was a lot of rain and there were floods and you got caught in the floods. Something of this. Okay, so it is either a happy occasion or it's a little tragic occasion or sad. What topics have they given you last year? You remember? Okay. Okay. Yeah, it is introduced in 9th only. So, but you said you have already written. Okay. So, but you will remember that the incident, anything that they ask you to write, is either happy, something special, or something tragic. I won't mean huge tragedy, but something a little not so happy incident. Okay. So, how do we write? The first thing now some also say that you can write heading here. But again, this is optional, completely optional. Your heading, dear diary के बाद heading लिखना is completely optional. Again, as I said, see if your teacher says right. Mostly they say write heading, but as I said, every school has heading के बारे में थोड़ा यहाँ वहाँ changes करते हैं. Okay, so if they say write heading, then write. Otherwise, start writing. I'll give you 2 sentences जिससे तुम बस आँख बंद करके start कर सकते हो. Okay, one is today I had the worst. अगर थोड़ा not so happy इंसिडेंट होगा तो worst, और if it is a happy occasion slash sweetest experience of my life. समझ में आया? I had never had such a beautiful slash horrid experience before. ये दो sentences तुम कहीं मतलब बिंदास यूज करना, and then you start writing what happened. Okay, because see, they say that first line should catch somebody, catch a teacher's eye. I had a wonderful experience today. I was in the class and the teacher was distributing papers. I was very nervous because though I had tried my level best to write the exam, I tend to make mistakes. When I got the paper in my hand, I was really thoroughly surprised because I scored full marks, if that is the top. So you can easily, वो ना flow हो जाता है, ये एक sentence के बाद तुमको क्या लिखना है. Okay, it just starts flowing. Take my word, ये मेरा experience है इतने सालों का. These lines work magic. Many times मतलब बच्चों का ये experience होता है कि dear diary लिख के बैठ जाते हैं, क्योंकि you can't think अभी start कैसे करूं. ऐसे होता है तुम्हारे साथ compositions में? So ये line से तुम start कर देना and then you'll realize कि अरे हाँ ये आगे आ रहा है मुझे. So you write down this format and write down those sentences also. Okay. So date, day, dear diary. Date, time. There are marks for this. Half. Date, time, dear diary. And after that I'll write. And always remember, whatever you're writing in the diary, you will write it in past tense. Okay. Avoid using past continuous tense. I was doing, I did. Okay. I was going, I went. So mostly write in simple past tense or past perfect tense. That is one rule that you remember. क्योंकि जो कुछ हुआ है, everything that has happened that you are going to write in your diary. So always past tense or past perfect tense. ये दो tenses ही use करना है. Okay. समझा ना? I'm giving a slash. जो इंसिडेंट लिख रहे हैं उसके हिसाब से either worst और इंटरेस्टिंग या ब्यूटीफुल लिखना है. Okay, you can start writing this.
So do we have to leave any lines in between the day?
No, date, then next line day, same line में time. इसके बाद if you want you can leave one line, dear diary, and then dear diary के बाद start writing on the next line. Start writing this. Then you write the whole whatever incident they have asked you to describe, and then your last line will be last. I'm putting an arrow here that indicates you write the whole incident, and then the incident I'm just writing here, and your last कुछ तो last line होना चाहिए. Your last line will be I will never forget this event in my life. Okay, I will never forget this day in my life, or I'll never forget this event in my life. अगर if it is a किसी भी इंसिडेंट के लिए लिख सकते हो. स्पीच देना था तो that you gave a very good speech. It was everybody clapped and I felt very very confident. Everybody cheered for me. I will never forget this incident in my life. So तुम्हारे लिए first line दे दी है, last line भी दे दी है. You can just write the बीच का part जो incident बोला गया. Okay, so you already have 2 to 3 lines for you ready made. I will never ever forget this event in my life. And then सबसे end में name. What do they tell you? Do they tell you to write XYZ or you can write your name in your school? You can ideally write your name. You're supposed to write your name. इसके साथ ना end में is always say that you should always write just to add value to your diary the lesson that you learned. So I will never ever forget this event in my life. Today I learned a lesson that and you know if it is something about earthquake or flooding and something related to that we need to take more care of our mother nature because if she gets angry we are doomed, okay, something like that. Or if it is about you winning something then hard work. Today I learned a very valuable lesson. Hard work pays. Hard work always pays. So it can be any hard work always pays ना बहुत सारी लोग चीजों के लिए जाए. Okay. So that is additional value. You can say that is a value addition to your last में ना कुछ तो lesson तुमने सीखा है ये डायरी incidents. So that you should add. I will never ever forget this event in my life. Today I learned a very valuable lesson that hard work pays तो सब जगह जाएगा. I'll give you few more tips if you want. Done?
I know the name would be after one line or just.
पूरा लिख के होने के बाद just directly नीचे write your name.
Okay, so we don't have to leave any line.
You can leave your line. You know, leaving the line here is only for that presentation sake. So it looks neat. So leave the line and write your name. I'll give you one sample, what do you say, diary, okay? Write down the topic. You had the most difficult exam today. You had the most difficult exam today. You had studied very hard. You had studied very hard for the test. And could solve all the questions. And could solve all the questions. You're happy about it. You are happy about it. Sorry? Okay. You are happy about it. Done? Write the diary entry. Write the diary entry mentioning the subject. Mentioning the subject and initial anxiety. Initial anxiety you experienced prior to the paper. Okay? ये अपना टॉपिक है. So how do we start? पहले date. So should we write? You can write any date. आज की date क्या है? May 26. Okay. So you can write. अभी May में तो एग्जाम होती नहीं है. So we can write at least June or July. Okay. But as I said, you can write any date. So July what? 13, 2022. उसके बाद नीचे आएगा day. Day can be whatever you want. Monday. And time. Which time? The time when you start writing when you are writing the diary. Okay? Not that when the event took place. ये जब तुम डायरी लिख रहे हो ना, उसका डेट और टाइम है. Okay? That means you are writing a diary on July 13. It is Monday and the time. So what time you will write the diary usually? At night. Perfect. Exactly. Because that's when by then you have finished all your activities. और वो पूरे दिन में क्या हुआ that you are going to note in the diary. So 10 p.m. That's one safe time. Okay. So you can write same line में 10 p.m. Then उसके बाद नीचे क्या आएगा? Dear diary. Okay. इतना लिखा. उसके बाद I'll dictate. As I said, time छोड़ के day और date तुम्हारे मन से कुछ भी लिखो. I have written this. You can write anything. उसके बाद, what should we start with? Now, will this be a sweetest experience or interesting experience? इसको हम लोग interesting बोलेंगे. Okay, interesting is a very neutral term. Okay, अगर कोई your grandmother has come home and she has got something, some gifts for you and सब तुम्हारे, then that's the sweetest experience. So you understand the difference, right, in the words. So interesting. So you can write, today I had an interesting day, or it was I had an interesting day today. किसी भी तरीके से start कर सकते हैं. Today I had the most interesting day of my life. Whatever you want to write. Okay. But I usually tell my children, ये जो first 2 lines दी थी ना मैंने, वो by heart कर दो. मतलब डायरी बोला तो first line इससे ही start करना है. This works very well, believe me. हो गया? We had, see अभी मैंने mathematics के बारे में लिखा है क्योंकि usually people find maths exam little scary. Okay, you are free to write, but this is just a sample. So we had our mathematics exam. We had our mathematics exam today. The theorems were making me anxious. The theorems were making me anxious. Though I studied hard, I was worried, though I had studied hard. Though I had studied hard, I was worried. I was worried that I might not remember anything. But the moment I got the question paper, I could recall everything. I could recollect everything, or I could recall everything. I managed to solve all the questions. I was so happy I could manage. I was so happy that I could solve all the questions. I was so happy that I could solve all the questions. This exam has helped me regain my confidence about maths. I'm positive. I'm positive I will secure very good marks. And then what will be our last line? I will never forget today's event. Today I learned a valuable lesson that if you study hard, it's always gives good results, or hard work always pays. Okay? Short may be लिख सकते हो. Okay. So you can write today I learned a very valuable lesson. Today I learned a valuable lesson that hard work always pays. Or if we wish to succeed, we need to work hard. If we wish to succeed, we need to work hard. There are no shortcuts to success. ऐसे 2-3 sentences लिख के रखना, वो sample जो दिया है ना, उसके नीचे भी. For for your future reference. Future कभी कुछ topic आया उसमें use करने के लिए. If you wish to succeed, you must work hard. There are no shortcuts to success. And then end में आएगा name. Directly write your name. Okay. Now, I'll give you one topic. Okay? And you write about that. The topic is, you are Monica / Manish. Okay, तो अभी क्या है? Already नाम दिया हुआ है. तो नीचे नाम जो तुम मोनिका या मनीष जो लिखना चाहते हो वो ही लिखना है, not your own name. Okay? You are Monica / Manish. You have been asked to speak in the morning assembly on value of games and sports in life. You've been asked to speak in the morning assembly on value of games or value of sports in life.
The morning assembly
on value of sports in life. Prepare a diary entry. Prepare a diary entry in about 100 to 120 words expressing your views. So 100 and 120 words means at least 10 to 12 10 lines, 10 to 12 lines. Okay, एक line में we usually say in one line we write 8 to 10 words. ऐसे अंदाज से, okay? So 10 to 20, 100 to 120 words means at least 12 lines. So, what all things will you write? First sentence तो तुम्हारा लिख के हो गया. Okay, that today I had the most interesting experience of my life. आगे. वो second line भी तुमको question में ही मिलेगी. What will you write? What are you asked to? What were you asked to do?
To give a speech about importance of schools and life.
Okay. Today I was asked to speak. It will always be I, we. It will be always in first person. Today I was asked to speak in the morning assembly on the topic value of sports in life. Then
We talk about sports. I was quite nervous. And I had also prepared a lot the night before for the speech.
okay, so I prepared a well-researched speech the previous day. Okay, yesterday I prepared a well-researched speech for today's assembly. Then this was the first time I got an opportunity to speak in front of the assembly. Okay, or you can say I'm a confident speaker. I always speak. और लेकिन उसमें क्या हो जाता है ना? Then what happens? ज़्यादा लिखने के लिए नहीं होता है कुछ. When you say it is the first time you are speaking, then you can write how nervous you were and how scared you were when you went to the podium or in front of the school, and when you saw all the eyes on you, you thought you will forget your entire speech, and for a minute you couldn't speak a word, and then you started, and then you yourself were surprised at how smoothly it went. You could speak, once you started speaking, you could recollect everything and you spoke very, very confidently. You taught, then you write what things did you mention in your speech. In the speech, I had talked about importance of sports. So, क्या लिखोगे उसके बारे में? What all will you write? I gave very valuable and interesting points in my speech, like sports, how sports is a stress buster for our students. I also made a point that saying that schools must have at least 1 hour dedicated for sports every day. Then first point you can say it's a stress buster. It is very, very important for healthy life. Sports is good for health. From my personal experience, I narrated that sports has taught me leadership qualities. I have learned to be a team player because of sports. So you learn to be, work in teams. You learn leadership qualities from sports. और क्या बोलोगे? So 3-4 पॉइंट्स तो तुम्हारे आने चाहिए कि ये स्पीच में तुमने क्या बोला था. Okay, as I ended my speech, the entire school gave me a loud ovation or loud claps. So they cheered me with loud claps. Everybody enjoyed. My class teacher personally came and praised me for my speech. I was quite moved by the response. I will never forget this incident ever in my life. Today I learned a lesson that we must work hard, or we should always try new things, or कुछ भी जा सकता है इसके लिए. Okay? So the first time we were trying. So, will you be able to write?
Yes.
Do I need to write some points? Sports के बारे में. So I'll just write the points. कि how sports helped you. Sports, whenever it is sports, leadership qualities. Teamwork, healthy body, stress buster, at least an hour every day. For sports. And when you said that, children spontaneously started clapping. Okay, you can say that. When you made a point that the schools must dedicate at least an hour every day for sports, all the students started clapping spontaneously. ऐसे तो बढ़ा चढ़ा के लिखना है डायरी में, ओके? थोड़ा Sound of music, yeah. Have you started with Sound of Music?
Yeah.
Do you have the book today?
Yes.
Okay. Because after we finish this, we'll do Sound of Music. Finished writing?
It's
Okay. Done? Okay. Okay, read. So then you read.
June 26, 2022, Monday, 10 p.m.
Okay.
Dear Diary, today I had the most interesting experience of my life. I had to prepare a speech on the importance of schools in our life. I was quite anxious about it since this was my first time giving a speech in front of a large crowd. Even though I had prepared a well-researched speech, I was worried that I might mess things up. So as I was on the stage, I started expressing my thoughts on the value of sports in life, how sports help me improve my teamwork and leadership quality. I also said that schools must dedicate at least an hour every day for schools. As soon as I ended my speech, everyone started clapping. Even my class teacher praised me. I was moved by the response. I will never forget this event in my life. Today I learned a valuable lesson that which is succeeding in sport.
Okay, very good. And take up new challenges.
July 20, 2022, Monday, 10 p.m. Dear Diary, today I had an interesting experience. I had been asked to speak in the morning assembly on valuing sports in life. I was quite nervous and was preparing the whole evening yesterday to give an amazing and knowledgeable speech today. When I got on stage, I could see principals were sitting on the front and all the teachers and students were sitting behind them. I spoke about that by playing sports we can learn many things in our life like leadership quality and teamwork. It also keeps our body fit and is a stress buster for the students. So I think that schools must dedicate at least an hour every day for sports. As I said this, all the students started shouting and clapping. In the end, everybody clapped. I will never forget this event in my life. Today I learned a lesson that hard work always pays.
Very good. Good job. Both of you have written very well. Okay. So remember that those two, beginning line and ending line. Okay, it gives a nice push and nice start to your diary writing. Okay, so I would suggest just by heart those sentences, remember those sentences. कुछ भी हो अगर if it is there is one topic that you were in the school, it started raining suddenly and it got flooded and you had to come home wade through the water and come home. Write your experience.
Yes.
So उसके लिए कैसे होगा beginning?
You have to post or interesting.
It will not be interesting. It will not be sweetest. It will be.
Words.
It was the worst experience. Okay, I have never experienced such a horrid day in my life. तो उसके लिए वैसे होगा. Fine. Or they also give the topic like you were traveling back home from school bus and or you saw a road accident. Okay, you were coming back home or something and you saw the road accident. So even for that, it will be a worst day in my life. Never experienced. I saw, had such a horrid experience. I was walking and then I saw a biker and a car. Now I'm telling you.
Yes.
What lesson will you learn from that?
Yes.
We should be very careful while walking or driving on the. We should not talk on the phone. Many times, अगर accident हो रहा होगा ना, उसमें cell phone पे बात कर रहा था, लिख देना. Okay. At that point, so you learned a lesson that you have to be very careful on this road and should concentrate on driving and always wear helmet. Because अगर accident था, biker था, he fell, got severely injured because he was not wearing a helmet. So remember, अगर ऐसे accident के बारे में कुछ होगा, always keep a two-wheeler person without helmet and keep the जो गाड़ी चला है उसके हाथ में mobile. He was busy reading the message or talking on mobile, and therefore, because of carelessness. So, if you remember these points, then it becomes easy for you to write whatever incident they have asked. Okay? So that's our diary writing. We will do. Should we do the lesson? No, because we have plenty of time. Yeah, then Toto
Moments.
from moments.
No, we are going in the first.
No, the teacher also did not do.
No.
Let's do Toto because this is a big lesson. This will require there are two parts to this. Do you have moments?
Yes.
So let's do adventures of Toto. So this Adventures of Toto is actually written by Ruskin Bond. Have you? Hey, last time we did The Lost Child, no?
Yes.
So we'll finish 2 from here and then we'll go to wahan pe. Have you read any books, stories by Ruskin Bond?
Heard its name.
Okay, you heard his name, never read anything. So here we have The Adventures of Toto. By Ruskin Bond. See, Ruskin Bond is a very popular Indian writer who wrote in English. Okay, so and he basically started writing children's stories. From a very young age, he started writing, and he started writing in English, and he started writing stories for children, especially. Became very popular. Ruskin Bond lived in Dehradun, Mussoorie, in that area. So all his stories are based on in that area. The most interesting part is you can relate to his stories. See, whenever we read English stories, they either talk about fall season, the trees falling, they are shedding their leaves, or fall colors or snow. The entire, you can say the society is the English society. Either the story takes place in England or in US somewhere. Um, you know, we don't connect with it sometimes, or because the environment, the description is very alien, you can say. No, कहीं और पे कुछ तो हो रहा है. But when you read his stories are very native because all the same stories take place in India. We can relate to his stories. So though these stories are written in English, they are very, very much Indian in flavor. Okay. Now, who's this Toto? This is a story about his grandfather. His grandfather was very fond of animals, and he had many animals in his house. He had practically had a small zoo in his house. And once he saw this monkey, and he brought this monkey home. Okay? And they tried to raise this monkey in the house. They kept this monkey in the house, and then this monkey was very, very mischievous. And how they tried to tame the monkey, how they tried to keep the monkey in the house, and what the things that the monkey did, and how he was so naughty, is the story about adventures of Toto. Have you ever had a baby monkey as a pet? Toto is a baby monkey. Let's find out whether he is mischievous or docile. Do you have any pet?
I want, but I want with
You want a pup, dog,
or a cat.
or a cat? Anything will do. Mother doesn't like it.
Like my father, I told that he had pets, but my mother doesn't like pets.
So, what kind of pets your father had?
Actually, he lived in a village, so he had 2 rabbits.
Okay, okay. So you want a dog and you are ready to take care of it.
Yes.
ऐसे तो सब लोग yes बोलते हैं initially. Your mother knows that finally she will have to. Don't you want any pet?
Yes. A hamster.
A? A hamster. Oh, you would like to have a hamster.
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully your parents will agree. Fine. Grandmother bought Toto from a Tonga driver for the sum of 5 rupees. You all know what a Tonga driver is? Tanga, जिसको टांगा बोलते हैं हिंदी में. That's it. What's a Tonga? In English, it is pronounced as Tonga. No idea what is a Tanga or a Tonga? शोले देखी है शोले मूवी? Pictures.
I've heard its name.
You've heard its name but never seen. Okay, basically a horse cart, घोड़ा गाड़ी, horse cart. Okay, so आगे घोड़ा लगा था and पीछे गाड़ी चलती. Have you gone to Fort Gateway of India?
Yes.
तो Gateway of India में भी वो Victoria चलती है. There's a horse cart. वो बहुत ही, that's a very decorated one. But basically a small Tonga is usually a horse cart. Okay. In Hindi it is called Tanga. So Tonga is the English version. The Tonga driver used to keep. And for how much rupees? What cost? He bought 5 rupees. Now you have to understand this story was written in 1930, 55 maybe. Okay. The Tonga driver used to keep the little red monkey tied to a feeding trough. And the monkey looked so out of place there that grandfather decided he would add the little fellow to his private zoo. Okay. Now read. Read loudly.
Toto was a pretty monkey. His bright eyes sparkled with mischief, very deep-set eyebrows, and his teeth, which were of pearly white, were very often displayed in a smile that frightened the life out of elderly Anglo-Indian ladies. But his hands looked dried up as though they had been pickled in the sun for many years. Yet his fingers were big and big and his tail, while adding to his good looks, grandfather believed a tail would add to anyone's good looks. Also served as a third hand, people to use it to hang from a branch, and it was capable of scooping up any delicacy that might be out of reach of his hands.
Okay. So the first this para, no, it describes our Toto. It was a beautiful monkey. He had nice bright eyes. His eyes were bright and they sparkled with mischief. You know, there are some children, you see their eyes and you know he's very, very naughty. Some, you see them and they say, he's very smart. He's very cunning. You know, eyes give out a lot of things. So this monkey, you know, had very mischievous eyes. You look at these nice sparkly eyes with a lot of mischief. He had nice teeth, nice pearly white teeth. He often displayed, and whenever he showed his teeth, you know, have you seen a monkey smiling? Have you ever visited a zoo and seen a monkey smiling? You can see all his teeth. Sometimes he would display it in a smile and it would frighten the life of elderly Anglo-Indian ladies. Now, Ruskin Bond is an Anglo-Indian writer. And in that Missouri and in that area, there were many Anglo-Indian families. He lived in a colony which was for where mostly Anglo-Indian people lived. But his hands were different. His hands looked as if they were dried up in the sun. You know, thin. If you see the monkey hands, they are thin. Okay, dried up. But his fingers were quick and wicked. His fingers were very quick. Suddenly he would pick up something. And he had a long tail. And what was grandfather's opinion?
That tail is very helpful.
That grandfather believed that a tail makes anybody look good. According to him, anybody and everybody looks good if they have a tail. Okay. He also used this tail as a third hand. He would either hang it from the branch, or the minute if something is, you know, out of his reach, with his hand, he cannot take something, steal something basically by his hand, he would use his tail to scoop it up and run away. So that was our Toto. Okay, read.
Grandmother always used
First,
when grandfather brought home some new bird or animal. So it was decided that Toto's presence should be kept a secret from her until she was in a particularly good mood. Grandfather and I put him away in a little closet opening into my bedroom wall, where he was tied securely, or so we thought, to a peg fastened into the wall.
Now, just 1 minute. Grandmother, like he said, mother does not agree. Even his grandmother, she would always fuss. She would always get upset. Okay, and she always start criticizing the minute grandfather brought any pet home. So what was decided? They decided to keep it a secret. They decided that they will not tell grandmother until she was in a good mood. Okay, if they tell her when she's in a good mood, then she won't react. Okay, she won't get too upset. Where did they keep him? In a closet, into his bedroom wall. Closet opening into his bedroom wall, and they tied him securely to a peg. You understand a peg? A nail in the wall. Okay, a nail in the wall जिसके ऊपर कुछ hang करते हैं, bags या ऐसे कुछ hang करने के लिए, कपड़े hang करने के लिए. That's called a peg. Read.
A few hours later, when grandfather and I came back to release Toto, we found that the walls, which had been covered with some ornamental paper chosen by grandfather, now stood out as naked brick and plaster. The peg in the wall had been wrenched from its socket, and my school blazer, which had been hanging there, was in shreds. I wondered what grandmother would say, but grandfather didn't worry. He seemed pleased with Toto's performance. He's clever, said grandfather. Given time, I'm sure he could have tied the torn pieces of the blazer into a rope and made his escape from the window. His presence in
Okay, one. You understood so far? क्या हुआ? He was tied to the peg. They thought, let's go and give him something to eat. So when they went to the room, what did they see?
He saw
That the walls had an ornamental wallpaper. He had scraped off the wallpaper. He had removed that peg from the wall, and they could now only see the plaster and bricks. There was his school blazer was hanging. The school blazer was torn to shreds, and he wondered. First, he got scared. He thought what grandmother would say. But grandfather was not upset. Grandfather was very happy. He thought this monkey is very, very smart, that he managed to release himself. So he said that had we given him some more time, he had shredded that blazer, no? He would have tied those pieces together and would have probably gone out of the window. So grandfather was very, very happy that this fellow is very smart. His presence in the house still a secret. Toto was now transferred to a big cage in the servants' quarters, where a number of grandfather's pets lived very sociably together. A tortoise, a pair of rabbits, a tame squirrel, and for a while my pet goat. But the monkey wouldn't allow any of his companions to sleep at night. So grandfather, who had to leave Dehradun next day to collect his pension in Saharanpur, decided to take him along. Because he messed up his room, where did they put him now? Transferred him to a big cage in servants' quarters. What other animals did they have there? Okay. Yes.
And the goat, which was there for a little.
And a pair of rabbits. And a pair of rabbits. A tortoise, a pair of rabbits, a tame squirrel, and for some time there was also one goat. Now, they kept him there. But grandfather decided to take him along with him. Why?
Because he would not allow the other animals to sleep.
Yes. He was so mischievous, he would not allow other animals to sleep. So therefore, and then the next day, grandfather had to leave to, where he had to go? To Saharanpur. They were living in Dehradun. He had to leave Dehradun for going to Saharanpur. Why?
To take his pension.
To collect his pension. So he decided that he has already created so much trouble. He's anyway naughty. Grandmother did not know there is a monkey in the house, so he decided he will take the monkey with him. What happened then? Here, read.
Unfortunately, I could not accompany grandfather on that trip, but he told me about it afterwards. A big black canvas kit bag was provided for Toto. This with some straw at the bottom became his new repose. When the bag was closed, there was no escape. Toto could not get his hands through the opening, and the canvas was too strong for him to avoid his way through. His efforts to get out only had the effect of making the bag roll about on the floor or occasionally jump into the air. An exhibition that attracted a curious crowd of onlookers on the Dehradun railway platform. Toto remained.
Fine. Now, how to take it? What did they do? They took one
A big black
canvas bag. So grandfather took one big canvas bag, put some hay on the bottom, and put Toto inside. Once he would put the chain, it would become difficult for Toto to come up. Yet Toto tried. He tried to jump from that bag, rolled on the platform. And it was an interesting sight for all the onlookers on the platform. Yet there are no stations. But Toto remained in the bag as far as Saharanpur. But while grandfather was producing his ticket at the railway turnstile, Toto suddenly poked his head out of the bag and gave the ticket collector a wide grin. So he was there in the bag. Grandfather was showing his, looking for his ticket to show to the ticket collector. Suddenly, this Toto pulled his head out and gave a wide smile to this ticket collector. So imagine his reaction. What happens?
The poor man was taken aback, but with great presence of mind and much to grandfather's annoyance, he said, "Sir, you have a dog with you. You will have to pay for it accordingly." In vain did grandfather take Toto out of the bag in vain. Did he try to prove that a monkey did not qualify as a dog or even as a quadruped. Toto was classified a dog by the ticket collector, and 3 rupees was the sum handed over as his fare. Then grandfather, just to get his own back, took from his pocket our pet tortoise and said, "What must I pay for this? Since you charge for all animals." The ticket collector looked closely at the tortoise, prodded it with his forefinger, gave grandfather a pleased and triumphant look and said, "No charge, it is not a dog."
Okay. You understood what happened? Why do you think the ticket collector called this monkey a dog?
Because he could take more money.
Yes, probably there was nobody ever traveled with a monkey. So there was no provision for a monkey के लिए शायद कोई ticket ही नहीं रहा होगा. There must have not been any fare for a monkey. So therefore he kept on saying, "That's a dog, that's a dog." And how much money did he take? 3 rupees as a ticket. And in those days, 3 rupees was a big sum. Okay. And then grandfather removed the tortoise. अभी इसका कितना ticket लो? What was his reply?
He said that it is not a dog.
It's not a dog. Take it with you. Okay. Read. When Toto was finally
accepted by grandmother, he was given a comfortable home in the stable when he had for a companion, a family donkey. Now on Toto's first night in the stable, grandfather paid him a visit to see if he was comfortable. To his surprise, he found Nana without apparent cause pulling at her halter and trying to keep her head as far as possible from a bundle of hay. Grandfather gave Nana a slap across her haunches and she jerked back, dragging Toto with her. He had fastened onto her long ears with his sharp little teeth. Toto and Nana never became friends.
okay. Now what happened? Now by now the grandmother came to know that they have a monkey. She accepted. Now where was this monkey transferred?
In the stable.
In the stable. Who was in the stable? The family donkey. They also had a donkey, a family donkey, and its name was Nana. So see, grandfather was very kind person, was a kind person. That night, on that first night, grandfather went down to the stable to see whether the monkey is comfortable. And what did he see? This Nana donkey, she was biting at her haunches, means the belt जो डालते हैं ना, जिससे बांधा होता है उसको. So she was pulling at it, and she was keeping her head away from the hay. Okay, usually donkey would like to eat hay, right? But she was pulling her head away from hay. So grandfather did not realize what happened. So he just gave her one slap. So she dragged her head up to one side, and along with that, dragged this Toto also. What had Toto done? Was biting at its ears. Was biting at its ears, and therefore it was trying to, get rid of this monkey. So he says that this monkey, Toto and Nana never became friends. Why?
Because he was that bitten.
Yes, he had bitten and probably kept on troubling this donkey all the time. Yes. Toto and Nana never became friends. A great treat for Toto during cold winter evening was a large bowl of warm water given him by grandfather for his bath. He would cunningly test the temperature of it with his hand, then gradually step into the bath. First one foot, then the other, as he had seen me doing, until he was into the water up to his neck. Once comfortable, he would take the soap in his hands and or feet and rub himself all over. When the water became cold, he would get out and run as quickly as he could to the kitchen fire in order to dry himself. If anyone laughed at him during this performance, Toto's feelings would be hurt and he would refuse to go on with his part. One day, Toto nearly succeeded in boiling himself alive. You understood itna paragraph?
Yes, ma'am.
This Toto, what was the best treat for him during the cold winter evenings? Taking bath in the bowl of warm water. Now we are talking about winters in Mussoorie, Dehradun, where it is, 2 degree, 3 degree, or even in minus. Okay, so in that he would like to, and how he had observed our author taking bath, the small child. He would first test it with how warm the water is with his hand. Then he would put his one leg. Then he would put the other one, and then he would sit in that bowl and take bath. He would also use the soap with his hand. And then how would he dry himself? After taking bath, he would, the minute the water would become cold, he would run to the kitchen fire to dry himself, because it is, otherwise he'll feel cold, right? Yes. So that was his bathing ritual, and that he enjoyed during the winters. I think. Should we read the next para, or it's time for you to go? You have another class?
No.
This is the only period. Okay. So only this part. Should we finish reading the whole lesson? Just quickly, so that otherwise आधा ही रह जाएगा.
A large kitchen kettle had been left on the fire to boil for tea, and Toto, finding himself with nothing better to do, decided to remove the lid. Finding the water just warm enough for a bath, he got in with his head sticking out from the open kettle. This was just fine for a while until the water began to boil. Toto then raised himself a little, but finding it cold outside, sat down again. He continued hopping up and down for some time until grandmother arrived and called him, half boiled out of the kettle. If there is a part of the brain especially devoted to mischief, that part was largely developed in Toto. He was always tearing things to pieces. Whenever one of my aunts came near him, he made every effort to get hold of her dress and tear a hole in it.
Okay, we'll stop here. So he was very, very mischievous. He managed to boil himself once. It was cold winter. He saw the grandmother had kept the kettle boiling. He thought it's water to take bath. He went inside and sat there. Once it started boiling, he couldn't come out. He kept jumping up and down. Finally, the grandmother came, took him out, and threw him. So he was very, very mischievous. Yeah.